You don't just wake up one day and suddenly you're off track. It sneaks in, quiet, subtle. At first, you don't even notice. It's been 2 months since my transformation. 2 months since I last counted a single calorie. 2 months since my last cardio session. And I feel fine, but that's the thing about comfort. Feels fine. Until it doesn't. Discipline fades in moments like this, not in big decisions. And if you let it, comfort wins. To fix this, I might just have an idea.
When we get older, work, family, life, it all adds up. And that's when discipline starts to fade. We stop caring about ourselves so much. We stop tracking. We stop pushing. And before we know it, we're diving in an ocean of comfort zone. And that is when progress dies. And that's exactly where I feel like I'm at right now. I feel like I'm starting to slip. I feel like I'm starting to get into that comfort zone. And if I don't do something about it, I feel like I'm gonna lose my grip. And it's gonna be hard to get back to where I was 2 months ago. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a 6-week reset. Nothing crazy. All I'm gonna do is introduce some discipline into my life. Simple daily habits. Nothing extreme. I'm setting some new rules. For 6 weeks, let's see how far we can take this. Today is March 1st. Beginning of this journey, I weigh 92 kilograms roughly, and this is what I look like. So this week I'm gonna try to do 3 sessions of fasted cardio. And each week I'm gonna tell you a part of my diet, starting with breakfast. You see, I love to cook and I love taking my time with it. But let's be real, if you wanna stay fit, you got a busy life, you got family, you got work, maybe kids. You don't have the luxury to whip out gourmet meals because it takes a lot of time, all right? Now, I know a lot of you guys like to meal prep, but personally, I'm not a big fan of it, because I think heating that food up, it kills the joy of it. I want that thing fresh, if you know what I mean. So personally, I gotta keep everything balanced. So everything I'm about to show you here, it's high on protein and it tastes good and it doesn't take anything longer than 20 minutes. From 5 minutes to 10 minutes, all the way up to 20 minutes, all right? Let's get to it. So week 1 in the books, and here's where I'm at. I'm down about 1.5 kilos, which is not crazy. I'm not just shedding weight, I'm keeping my muscle, which is mainly my plan with the way I eat and I train. So whatever I lost, that 1.5 kilos is purely fat, I think. And let me tell you a little bit about my experience with the morning cardio. So I did it 3 times this week. The first time, 20 minutes, it felt like forever. Second time, 30 minutes. And by the third, I hit 45 minutes. 350 calories burned according to my Apple Watch, and within a week, that's progress. And when you make that progress, you're just happier. I have some good news for me. Drive to Strive is back, so that definitely helped for me to make progress in my cardio. When I'm doing the walking pad, I'm watching the Drive to Strive and it just keeps me going. When it comes to the importance of taking enough protein in our body to not only maintain muscle mass but also gain muscle mass, we're talking about 2 to 2.5 grams per kilo of body weight. Now, especially if I'm watching what I'm eating, I can't really get all of that with my food, so you gotta supplement it. You gotta get your supplements in now. When it comes to protein, there's a couple of factors that come into play. One, it should taste good, obviously, right? And the second one is that it should not make your stomach feel weird. And the third one is that it should blend well with water. Now, system-less protein has all those 3 elements that I just talked about. So I'm just gonna shake it like this, and I don't even need a blender. I have a special offer for you guys, link in the description, go and check it out. I ended last week by saying I was on track, but to be honest, I'm struggling with discipline. It was the weekend, I stopped counting calories, and I ended up, having more rice than I should have. I had an excessive amount of pistachio with a non-alcoholic beer. This whole thing might not sound like much, but to be honest with you, 600 to 700 calories of pistachio is enough to get me off my track. And when I'm off my track, that means, the discipline is not there. The truth is, I don't know why I'm finding it so hard to stay disciplined. Maybe it's because I still have some time left in the challenge, and I feel like I have room to mess up, and I feel like I can afford to slip in just a little bit. But that's just pure BS, and that is definitely the comfort talking. This morning when I was doing my cardio and I was watching another episode of Drive to Strive, and I saw this clip from Max Verstappen.
I think I'm very talented, but at the end of the day, it's not a given. For me, it's what you do off the track as well. You have to try and work harder than the people around you.
That line really stuck with me because I feel like, I'm missing that right now. I definitely got motivated watching that, but the truth is, this type of motivation, when it comes from like a movie or a scene or a moment or music, it's just pure BS, because it fades so easily. I need to take this motivation and turn it into a short-term success, because that's how real motivation comes in. And I'm gonna try my best to stay disciplined and stay motivated, but this is what I'm facing right now, and I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to show you how I cook my rice, an essential part of my diet, because this is what keeps me full and gives me the energy that I need in the gym. So this is another favorite dish that I make. It's healthy, full of protein, a little bit higher on calorie compared to chicken breast, but it tastes amazing. Now, I told you I don't like to meal prep, but I like to prep these. Salt, pepper, red pepper, onions, saffron. Okay, I'm Persian, I gotta use my saffron. So first we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this thing up. I'm gonna put the ghee in, about the same amount, almost always 67 grams, not too much. I'm gonna close the lid, right? And I'm gonna let it sit for 20 minutes up to 30 minutes. One good portion of rice a day, plus I'm back on creatine. And I'm telling you, I feel strong, like really strong. In the gym, I'm pushing my max weight, hitting them PRs almost weekly. But strength isn't just a part of it. This phase, I'm targeting my weak spots, shoulders and biceps, twice a week. Sounds simple, but try it. You miss a day, you break the rhythm. The thing is, you can't hit the same muscle again unless you give it some time to recover. My week split is tight. Shoulders early in the week, biceps on back day, chest 2 days later, leg days and bicep, shoulders again to close the week. The plan's working. Since my December transformation, I think I've added some size. Solid, visible, earned. So when it comes to, taking all the protein necessary for the day, the food's not gonna cut all of it. There's still gonna be some gaps that we need to fill in. And I want those things to be natural and animal-based, right? So this is not sponsored by Honda. This is dried meat left in 25 degrees for about 2 or 3 days, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Unbelievable. You gotta try it. Week 4, I'm at a point where I need to move more. Not just train, but burn consistently. Not just any movement, something that demands presence. A practice that humbles you, makes you focus. A challenge that I could get obsessed with. And funny how life works. You put the signal out, and it answers. I went to the Alps for work. But my cameraman out of nowhere said you should try this. And I've loved this sport for as long as I can remember. But I always held back to give it a try. Not out of fear, but because of this damn lower back. So on March 29th, 2025, I wrapped my hands for the first time. And I threw my first punch. So maybe that's the fix. Boxing, 3 to 4 times a day, a couple of them fasted in the morning. Burn more, dial it in, stay more active. Now I'm making some adjustments, only because I'm going in front of the camera to see the final results in 2 weeks. I'm gonna wanna reduce some water in my muscle and in my skin to look a little bit more leaner, all right? That's the only reason I'm doing this. And I'm starting with the System LS fluid-free supplement that will boost my metabolism and naturally reduce some of the water in my body. Now week 3 and 4 didn't move the scale, but it definitely brought something else. Let's see what week 5 brings, all right? Stay tuned.
Week 5. Got back from the trip. Got a little sick. Nothing major though. Just off. But I trained through it. Bought some boxing gear. Went to my first real boxing class. And looked like an idiot. Didn't care though. Here's the thing, it's working. Being more active paid off. Dropped a kilo in a week. And I'm obsessed. On to week 6.
This is proof that you can lose weight, gain protein, and still have fun. If you're the type of person who likes sweets and who enjoys having cakes and whatnot, or have you, you're gonna wanna watch this, my friend, all right? So we're gonna make some protein pancake. Listen, you might feel like I'm saying this because System LS has sponsored me, but believe me, I challenge you to try their protein, because I've made the protein pancake with other sorts of protein, but there's something about the texture, the material that you make the protein with the System LS. Mamma mia, you know what I mean? So let's talk about the ingredients. Blueberry, banana, baking powder right here, grade A maple syrup, organic, and last but not least, some whey protein chocolate taste from System LS, okay? So, oh, we forgot the most important ingredient, which is eggs. Can we get some eggs in here, please? I'm gonna use 2 eggs. I'm gonna put 1 banana, just to give it that texture. You don't put the baking powder in. All right, 6 weeks later, this is how much I weigh, around 3 kilos less. This is me in the gym after a pump, under the lights, and this is what I look like after 6 weeks, under the same set of lighting, without a pump. I was able to maintain my muscle mass, and I lost some fat, and probably some water, due to the herbal fluid-free body balance from System LS. Comfort doesn't show up making a lot of noise. It sneaks in. And how do you beat it? I've been a fan of combat sports for as long as I can remember. I've been obsessed with it, watched every fight, knew every fighter. But when someone asks if I've ever trained, I pretty much just shake my head and say, nah man, I never had the bag for it. But something shifted. I think by forcing myself out of that comfort zone, by pushing myself again, it cracked something open. A door I've been quietly staring for years, just quietly opened. And now, I'm learning the art of something that I've admired only from a distance. Boxing. Man, the more I try to get fit, the more I realize that we obsess a little too much over calories and macros. You know, trying to eat less, weigh less. But correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's not about that. Maybe the fix is just to move more. Or to do something that, you know, pushes us to our limits. Something that pulls us out from that autopilot that we're in all the time. The more I do this, man, I realize it is more about the intention. And when the intention is right, it feels like progress follows. And when you do have a purpose and the right intention, it almost feels like kind of life meets you halfway, you know? Not in my wildest dreams, I thought I'd be, you know, going to boxing classes, but 6 weeks later, here I am. And that is the power of pushing out of your comfort zone. And the tool to get out of it is called discipline. It pulls you out of that fog. So if you're starting to fade, catch it now. Build a plan, stick to it, and let that momentum carry you forward. Hey, if you feel like you relate to my content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification. Leave a comment, tell me about your journey. See you in the next one.